All right, everybody, today is book report day, but don't worry, it's not Finnegan's Wake or Ulysses. And today, the book is Gravel Cycling, a complete guide to gravel racing and adventure bikepacking. Find out what's in the book and what I think about it in this video. Welcome back, Pathless Peddlers, and if you're new to the channel, if you're looking for information and inspiration about bike travel, bike touring, bike packing, and bike fishing, then definitely subscribe. This channel is for you. I've had a media copy of Nick Legan's gravel cycling book for the last couple weeks. Been reading it, enjoying the pictures, enjoying the copy and the interviews thoroughly. And I just wanted to give a little book report about the book in case you were wondering what was inside and whether you should buy it for yourself or for a loved one. So one thing I think that is really interesting about this book is that there are tons of books about the history of road racing and mountain bike history, but there hasn't really been a book that's kind of really dug deep into this emerging gravel / adventure biking scene. And I feel like this is the first book to my knowledge of its kind, and is really gonna set the bar in terms of covering the history of gravel cycling events and bike packing and just basically cycling in this modern era. So the book is divided into some kind of general large segments. One is kind of a history or prehistory of gravel riding, noting that most of the earliest bike riding we had was on dirt roads. Then there's multiple sections on single day gravel race events. Everything from the well-known favorites like the DK200, the Grasshopper Race Series, the Land Run 100 with Barry Roubaix, and the D2R2. So in each of these events there is kind of a big broad picture map of what the course looks like, some kind of specific tips for each event. And one thing that I really appreciated is that there were interviews with both the race organizer, so you get kind of that director perspective of how the event came about, how it's metamorphosized, what kind of riders should come to the event. And then there is tips from a rider that's either won the event in the past or just races really competitively. Because it's gravel riding, there is so much talk about tire width. So if you want to get your nerd on about what the perfect tire is or what the perfect bike is for DK200 or Land Run, you'll definitely want to check out that section. And after all of the single day domestic events, there is a whole section on cool international gravel events, a lot of which I had no idea existed. The book has really opened my eyes. There's lots of awesome events going on in Australia, in France, in Spain. Definitely lots of events to put on your bucket list. One thing that really stood out is that there was a gravel event that happens in the Pyrenees. If you're a fan of the Tour de France, then you typically think of the Pyrenees as having epic paved road climbs, but apparently there are tons of climbs up there to do on gravel roads as well. Another cool event that happens in France is called La Resistance. And what's neat about it is that yes, it is a single day gravel riding event, but actually leading up to that single day event, there is a multi-day bike packing event. So riders are encouraged to actually bike pack to the start of the event and then do the single day event. So the next big distinct section is multi-day bike packing routes and events. In this section, you'll see information about the Oregon Outback, the Colorado Trail, the Arizona Trail, even the Gap and the Katy Trail. So definitely a wide range of experiences, from more kind of demanding single track multi-day bikepacking routes to routes that are unpaved but are also a little bit more developed and beginner friendly. And sprinkled throughout the book are really compelling interviews with the likes of Lael Wilcox, which we all know if you're into bike touring and bike packing. John Stamsted, the first person to actually race the Great Divide, and even a little interview with Mac McCoy, the cartographer that used to work with adventure cycling that mapped out the Great Divide route. So a lot of history in there, but also lots of contemporary interviews. And the last part of the book is devoted to all sorts of bike nerdery, from what to carry on a gravel race to basic information about how to carry things if you're going bike packing. And of course, everyone's favorite topic is wheel diameters and tire sizes. In this section, there was a really fascinating interview with Joe Miser that we know through Salsa, and he actually talks about the evolution of the Fargo and how it's changed since that initial bike and how they modified it based on how people were using the bike. They found people were hose clamping things to the fork to carry gear, and from that user input they actually modified the fork, developed the anything cage, and also the geometry so it better handled the load. And the last part we'll call the bike porn section, and it's got dream builds from Advocate, Chumba, Salsa, Specialized. So aside from all the great information, the book has tons of photography, and that's actually one of my favorite things about the book. A lot of the information I'm fairly familiar with already, but it's cool to see what the race conditions look like, what these multi-day events look like, what these events and bikepacking routes overseas look like. So it really fleshes it out, and it makes for great winter reading when you're planning your next spring and summer adventure. So if you want to treat yourself or a loved one to a book that I think will be one of those tomes that will define this kind of interesting era in cycling, then definitely treat yourself to a copy of Gravel Cycling. You can buy the book at your local bike shop, or you can buy it direct from Nick on his website. I'm gonna put a link to that in the description below. So that's it for this book review. I hope you guys found it interesting. I know it's not a camo bike bag or something, but let me know if you want me to do more book reviews like this. So let me know what you think. If you have any questions, leave those in the comments below. And if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.